do you mean I didn't scare you? All right, well, I'm Mr. James from Charm City Karate, and this is our video on Halloween safety tips. Halloween is awesome. It's one of my favorite times of year when I was a kid. Still is sometimes. But the whole thing can get ruined if something happens, or you get hurt, or sick, or you have a lousy time. So, some safety tips for you boys, girls, and parents out there. First one is this. If you're buying a costume or you're making your own costume, make sure you can see. The worst thing in the world is to have a costume where you're looking through these like little peepholes and you're like, I can't see where I'm going. It's terrible. We have this big panda mascot costume that we use for events and parades and stuff. Wearing that thing is looking through like 2 paper towel rolls. You can't see 3 feet in front of you. What I mean is, this 3 feet is invisible. So when you're going to go down a curb or something, you're blind. You got nothing. What that means is, anytime you're in that thing, you got to have a handler, somebody that can like say, watch out for the curb and hold your hand. Or if a kid wants to run up and give you a hug or give you a high five, the handler's got to negotiate for you because you don't know where the kid is, right? So, having that in a costume where you can be running around and stuff, it's not that great. This mask is actually pretty good. I like this one for a while now. But you can see it's got these big eye holes, and they actually go off to the sides so you can see a little bit around you. Pretty nice. And the eye holes are bigger than your eyes. If you get a costume and you can't see out of the eye holes, consider it cutting the eye holes, making them bigger. One of my favorite kinds of masks is those latex ones that you can just glue on your face. Right? They're a lot easier to wear, they're not as hot, and you can see really well. Painting a mask on is even better. You can always see out of those. It's also good to have visibility for others. You know, have something on your costume that's bright or that reflects in headlights or street lights so that you're not invisible to cars. I know it can ruin your whole look. So put it in your goodie, if you put it on like your goodie basket or somewhere in the back where you don't have to see it, that works good too. Or on your shoes, something like that. If you're wearing a cape or you have like a gown or a long dress because you're going to be a princess, make sure it is not so long that you're going to trip over it or so big and voluminous. When I was younger, my sister one year wanted to be like, I don't know, some elf character from some comic book. And this cloak thing that she had was like big enough to go around her like 4 times. It was actually so big that it was getting in her way all night. And she ended up taking it off because it was just too big and bulky. Okay, so it's not really that cool. And if you trip over this thing and you end up falling and like smashing your face on the ground, that's not gonna be that much fun, right? Or you step on it and you tear it, like rip it off of yourself, costume's ruined, not that cool. Make sure it's short enough you're not gonna do that. And you don't want to spill any candy, right? Because then you can't pay Mr. James's candy tax. If you're going alone, come up with like a trick-or-treat map of where you guys are going to be. Figure out which houses you're going to go to. I'll give you a hint. The ones where there's like a 1/4 mile between each house, not that good. All right, but and figure out how long you think you'll be gone. That way your parents have an idea. If it's going to be a complicated area or somewhere you're not used to going, take the map with you. But it's good if your parents know about when to expect you back. You know, if they think you're going to be back at 8:30 and they don't see you by 10, somebody should be coming to look for you. Let your parents look at the candy before you eat it. All right? Things like apples that people put in your bag, you probably shouldn't eat. You never know what they can do to that kind of stuff. If it looks like it's been opened and sealed back up, you should not eat it. But let your parents look at it just so you know. Anything that's been opened or damaged, it's not worth it. Throw it away. My parents actually used to, hit for the parents. My parents actually used to like go through the candy, and anything that they threw away got replaced out of our candy bin, so you didn't feel like you were getting ripped off. Do not throw candy in the street, okay? Or on the lawns or anything like that. Dogs are highly allergic to chocolate. I think it's about an ounce per pound of body weight, but it does kind of depend on the breed too. Dogs that eat chocolate can die, so don't just go throwing candy on the street or anything like that. I'm sure cats have something that they can make them really sick too. So if you leave candy laying around or candy wrappers, they can eat that. They can get really sick. They might even die. You don't want to do that. Okay, be nice to them. Besides, littering's bad. Remember too, for you, candy's yummy, but if you eat too much, you're going to get sick. So, ration it out, okay? Have a little bit. Next day you can have a little bit. Don't eat it all at once. Be a fat pig, you'd probably barf on your shoes. Parents, I'm sure you know, if your child is young, you go with them, right? Yes. Okay, good. We already talked about older children planning out the route, right? Yeah, okay, good. Only go to houses with the porch light on, right? That's an age-old signal of, yes, we participate in this trick-or-treating business. Porch lights off, they're either not playing or they're not home. Unless you really know the people, do not go in the house. If they say, oh, yes, come in, I have some candy right back here. It's not a good idea to go in there. I mean, if they're a neighbor and you visit them all the time and you know them, okay, but like Creepy Joe up on the hill, forget it. Be careful crossing the streets. Just because you're excited to run over there and knock on Mrs. Riley's house, who has the best candy every year, doesn't mean that that car coming down the street is going to stop because they know you're going to run across the street to Mrs. Riley's, okay? You still got to like look both ways, be careful crossing the street, try to cross the intersections. You know, pedestrian injuries are really high on Halloween. Don't let it be you. Stay in groups. Talk about where you're going to go, and all go together. Right? Good. Hopefully, one of you in your group will be old enough and responsible enough and have a cell phone so that you can communicate should it be necessary. This does not mean that you send the teenager who's grumpy about it and is going to be texting the entire time and not paying attention to the group. Yes. Good. Okay? Somebody that can be responsible and carry a cell phone just in case. Try to stay to well-lit streets and on the sidewalks. It's not always possible. Our neighborhood has this one spot where the sidewalk just ends for no reason and starts up again like almost at the end of the block. It's stupid. I don't know why they did it. Probably a jurisdiction issue, but whenever you can, stay on the sidewalks if there is a sidewalk. Stay on the well-lit streets. Don't run across people's yards. Don't run down alleys. People hate it when you run across their lawn. You might trip over their favorite plant. You might mangle something that they've planted. You might destroy their lawn. Don't do it. It's rude. Go down the walk. Go up the sidewalk and go up the next walkway. All right? They're going to give you candy. Don't trample their grass. We already talked about crossing at crosswalks. Do not just run across the street. We already talked about this, but I'm going to say it again. Do not run across the street. Yes, pedestrians have the right of way. Do not run across the street. Getting run over just to prove a point is stupid. Stop, look, cross the crosswalks. And if you see anything suspicious or creepy, let the police know. You know, like, I don't know, 4 teenagers trying to get into a door that looks like it's locked. Or people doing something else that's suspicious or creepy. I don't know. All right? But if you see something you think the cops should know about, you should let them know. Doesn't matter that it's Halloween. Okay? So, stay safe. Halloween safety tips for you. Parents, kids, I want all of you to be safe. And don't forget Mr. James's candy tax. All right? You guys have a great holiday. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.